No, let me go back and speak to the points that the president made, and let's get them correct.
All right, well, the second debate is in the books, and taking the politics and opinions out of it, it was certainly a much more aggressive debate on both sides than the first one, as candidates took questions from voters in this town hall-style debate ranging from Libya and taxes, jobs, and education. Now, there were times when it appeared that they were circling each other, almost like a scene from West Side Story. It was an interesting debate. Joining us this morning with some analysis, Rich Bolen, the former head of the Lexington County Republican Party, and the current executive director of the South Carolina Democratic Party, Amanda Loveday. Good morning.
Good morning.
So what y'all think? Just real quick, off the top.
I thought it was great. The president showed up, and I think that it was a great conversation for both sides.
Rich?
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining, much more entertaining than the vice presidential debate.
Sure. Well, take a peek. This is some of the best of hits, I guess, from last night's debate. Take a look at this real quick.
Governor Romney says he's got a 5-point plan. Governor Romney doesn't have a 5-point plan. He has a 1-point plan.
Why am I lowering taxes on the middle class? Because under the last 4 years, they've been buried. Mr. President, have you looked at your pension? Have you looked at your pension?
You know, I don't look at my pension. It's not as big as yours, so it doesn't take as long.
When you say that I wanted to take the auto industry bankrupt, you actually did.
There are differences between Governor Romney and George Bush, but they're not on economic policy.
All right, guys. So that was some of the best moments. Anyway, what y'all think? It's a lot more aggressive than the first one. Very subdued. You know, last week's debate, the vice presidential debate, was a little aggressive as well. But do you think they took the cue from the vice presidential?
I think that the president knew that he needed to show up more than he did from the first debate. I think that he needed to talk specifics, and I think that he needed to hold the governor accountable, and I think that he did all of those things last night.
Would you agree, Rich? Do you think he was able to hold the governor accountable and really walk on him, or?
Yeah, I think he overdid it, though. I think he overplayed his aggressiveness. I think it was somewhat put people off, as he was so aggressive and rude and interrupting, which just didn't look presidential.
I did notice there was a lot of interrupting, and I actually listened to the
first half. From both sides, Tyler.
That's fair enough, fair enough. But I listened to it on the radio, the first part of it. And so I didn't have the visual, so I was just listening to the back and forth and cutting each other off. And how do you think, as a voter, as the undecided voters that were really paying attention, how's that going to play in their minds?
Well, I think the most important thing about debates first is that both sides, they energize their base. And I think that definitely happened on the Democratic side. The president came out, he performed exactly the way the Democratic base wanted him to. I think that the undecideds were wanting to see more about specifics, and I think that that came out last night. I think for the first time, I think we were able to hold the candidates accountable. I think that when they were lying, especially the president would make sure that people heard that Mitt Romney was not telling the truth. And I think that those things are what really helps decide undecided voters, is to see what policies actually will help them and what policies are just not true.
Okay, Candy Crawley, what do you think, the moderator, Rich?
I think she tipped her hand a little bit halfway through, where she bailed Barack Obama out on the Benghazi misstatement that he made, and later
she was fact-checking the governor.
Yeah, incorrectly. I mean, she's quoting an incorrect fact, which she walked back after the show on CNN. She admitted that she was incorrect when she said that he did say that it was a terrorist act.
He did say it was a terrorist attack. Look
no,
at the
he said he would not succumb to terrorist acts in general, a generic terrorist acts, but he didn't say this was a terrorist act and we won't succumb to it. And she made it sound as though he did, and he made it sound as though he did. And so I felt like she had too much impact on the whole debate, which a moderator should not have.
I think that she performed much better than Jim Lair did, and I'm a huge fan of Jim Lair.
Right.
But I think that both of these candidates have very powerful personalities, and I think that they both are very powerful about what they believe in. And so I think that you have to have a moderator who is willing to say, okay, we're going to move on. Because especially in a town hall debate, you have an audience who's wanting to listen and wanting to ask questions, and all of them came there prepared to ask a question, or 13 of them did, and you should give them that opportunity.
And really, we have just a couple of seconds left, but timing-wise, she did give the president, now I'm not sure if there's other timers, not necessarily the moderator, but do you think it was an advantage given to the president? Do you think he's going to make the most of that 3 minutes, or does that really not matter?
Rich, you? Me?
I think he used most of the 3 minutes up in pauses and stutters, but...
I think the time from last night was fine. I think that it was basically evenly split, and I think that President Obama used his time probably more wisely than the governor did.
Very good. Well, we've got a lot more to talk about. You folks are going to stick around for a couple more minutes. We're going to talk about a couple of very specific items they brought up, including the all-important women's vote. Do we talk to the women? We're going to find out that and what we all think when Good Day Columbia comes right back.